What's up, guys? So as you can tell by the title and thumbnail, today we're going to be working on the OBS, and thanks to our returning sponsor, we're also going to have another affordable tool haul, which I am super excited about. More on that later. Let's start by seeing if this old girl's going to crank. Let's get this thing out in the sun where it's a little bit warmer. So when we got the exhaust redone on this truck, we opted for not putting tips on it. I roll up on something, and of course, it's the freaking exhaust tips that I was gonna put on this truck. So it's just two pipes coming out right there, but we did space them out enough to where we can hopefully put some in, because I feel like we're missing out a lot of that glorious 5.7 sound by not having any tips. So today we're gonna be welding some on, but we've got, I think, 2 or 3 different options. So let me go grab them real quick and we'll try to figure out exactly which ones we wanna use. Now, thankfully, because we did space the tips out like that, I think either one of our options are going to work. But the first option is the tips that I actually bought for our second gen. I was gonna run them out old school, kind of like this. I feel like that was gonna look amazing on that truck, just that kind of older vibe. But then I decided not to do that when we went the whole straight pipe route, because y'all left the most comments saying to do straight pipes, and that thing was ridiculous. But these might be a little bit long. I think they're 2.5. They might be 2 1/4. Let me see if I can slide them on there and see how they look, and then we'll go over option number 2, which I think is probably the route we're gonna go. Well, I got them to slide on there. Obviously, they're looking a little long. We could push them up a little higher, but then we're gonna get into the bend portion of the pipe, so we can't go up but maybe another inch. And currently, they hanging pretty low. Look like the freaking red 10th gen up there when we got it. Got the old, not dovetails, but that kind of style. Yeah, that's a little much. That's not really fitting the whole vibe that we got going on. So option number 2, the tried and true 5-inch shorty tips. I think these things are going to look amazing and be able to be tucked up high enough to where they're barely going to be visible, but also, like, when you look, you'll see them and they'll be freaking nasty. Gotta love the OGs for sure. So let me go ahead and swap those out for these. Now, this is kind of what I was worried about, them being too close together. So they are touching. We can probably finagle them down some to where they're not, but I don't want them to get so low that they look weird. Obviously, I think they look sick like that. Would be a little bit better pushed up higher, but they're not hanging down so low that they're gaudy, but they are a little bit more visible than I would like. Really can't see them from the back. It's just kind of the side. I mean, that looks good right there. The only issue we might have is them clanking on each other, which we don't want. So let me run to the basement, see if we do have any other tips. If not, we're gonna have to make this work one way or another. Now, before we go welding those tips up, I wanted to quickly talk to y'all about today's sponsor, that being Temu. So if you saw the last video, you know that we picked up some really handy tools that have been super convenient to have around the farm. And we've done the same thing today, which we're gonna showcase here in just a little bit. But I definitely wanna encourage y'all to go onto their website, download their app, and just scroll around, man. They have a ton of different options, from tools to modifications, whether it's exhaust tips, even like big elbow tips, if that's your thing. They got those for sale. There's grills, there's floor mats, there's just a huge array, just like there is on other websites, but these are at a much more affordable cost. And everything that I've gotten from them, I've had extremely good luck with them. And we have a $100 discount code. Just type in my code in their search bar on their website after you download the app, and you have, I think, up to 24 hours of shopping to pick out whatever you want. Use that discount and have yourself a bunch of awesome stuff for, like I said, an affordable price. Download the app, use my code, check out the website. Let's get back to the video. I think this is how we're gonna have them. They are touching, but since that bar is welded together right there at the pipe, they should hold together to where they don't rattle, because they're gonna be touching. Whereas if they weren't touching, but they could move enough to clack each other, then clack? I've never used that word in my life. If they were close enough to hit each other, then they would obviously make sound. But I think since they're gonna be welded together touching, we shouldn't have an issue. So we've got them up high enough to where you can't see the back side of the tip. You can really just barely see them hanging down, which I think that looks good. And then from the rear, you really can't see them at all because of the bulky hitch assembly, which I am totally fine with. We've got to do a little adjusting to get them, you know, angled correctly. But I think with the hand that we are currently dealt, I think that's going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and mark, because we're going to have to cut quite a bit, because we don't want that pipe coming all the way out like that. That's going to really mess with our echoing effect of the tip. So I'm going to mark up top, cut it with the Sawzall. Now I'll catch up with y'all for the welding portion. Now, never have I been trained on how to actually weld, nor have I even played around with it since the 2nd gen exhaust. So it's not going to be pretty, but if it holds, right? Not quite sure what happened, but our wire broke. And we've got this trying to be an absolute bird's nest. I'm blaming it on the ladybugs. Everything to blame on the ladybugs. Well, our tips are officially welded on there, and because it's not that serious, and y'all will probably get a good laugh, you can roast me in the comments. How are my freaking welds, boys? Holy. Oh, that's the thing of beauty. Now, it might not look great, but who the crap is looking at it? And two, it's on there. These things are hard as a rock. Pause. Yeah, they're good. Pipes are up in the tip, so we have that full echoing effect. So let me get all this bull crap out of the way. Let's crank this thing up. I think the old girl is definitely sounding a lot better. Let's get a little romp here. Oh! The freaking shifts are crispy, about 3,000 RPMs. We're gonna go ahead and get a couple interior clips for y'all. Windows up. 2,500 RPMs. I'll tell y'all what, man, these tires are awful when you don't drive on them regularly. It takes forever for them to get some heat in and actually smooth out, and then once they smooth out, they're still not that smooth, that's for sure. I think we're about due for a new setup on the old OBS. We'll just have to see if that works into the budget, because we got a lot of other crap going on right now. But I saw a post the other day on TikTok, and it was a guy talking about all the YouTubers that he watched and how he loved all the series, and this was talking about car YouTubers. All the series that they did, you know, have a 50-part series rebuilding a car into something crazy, and then they either give it away or sell it, and y'all don't get to experience what it's like driving the vehicles. And I've definitely seen plenty of comments saying, hey, we want to see more videos of you driving. Is that something y'all are really super interested in? I know it's not, it's going to be a niche part that, you know, hey, I'll strap a GoPro on my head and y'all get to experience what it's like to drive the vehicles. That the small majority of y'all probably enjoy that. But it might be a lot bigger than I've ever really thought about. So I know a ton of y'all like seeing us tow things with the trucks, and maybe that's just because we're actually like experiencing driving the truck while we're doing something. So I do want to hook up all the trucks to the trailer and throw something on there and just see how they perform by pulling and just experience that. But drop a comment if you want to see some actual driving around videos, POV, interior, like day in the life while driving whatever truck. Let me know, because I'll definitely do it. Let's go ahead and check out our Temu haul, which I am really excited about. A lot of stuff that I got this time. So let's just go ahead and work our way from here over. Starting with a freaking King Ranch hat. We are speaking it into existence. The steel body is going to eventually happen, and it's going to be a King Ranch. So had to pick this thing up. I am super stoked. Once again, future goal on the channel. Next up, we got a universal O-ring set. So whether it's four-wheelers, trucks, whatever the case, everything's got a bazillion O-rings on it, and those things can wear out. And having a huge pack of a bunch of different sizes is going to be nice. Next up is going to be a tug rope, or a pull rope, whatever the case. You get four-wheeler stuck or something, freaking hook it up and snatch that baby out of there and not mess around with chains. Now next, I'm very excited because y'all know anytime you get some new detailing products, it's a good day, and we got a bunch of them. So for starters, I got this like mitt thing with a stick. If you're like myself, you absolutely hate washing the roof of your truck because it's just annoying to get to, and a lot of times you just don't. But with this, you can just stand at the back of the truck and just scrub the whole roof. So that's going to be nice. Got a new mitt as well. Got some reusable clay bars. I got a new grit guard to go in our bucket, and then this little thing that sticks on the side of your bucket so you can keep all of your additional tools and stuff in there. So definitely going to be using that. Got a bunch of these little trays. They're magnetic bottom. They obviously fold down, fold out. So anytime you're working on, one of them big jobs, you got different trays to put different bolts and nuts. So glad to have that. These babies right here would have been useful about 6 years ago when I started this channel, however long it's been. These are actually for hooking onto your frame and then onto your brake caliper. So the days of me using ratchet straps to get them things out of the way, or sitting them on my freaking stool in a bucket, whatever the case, are long gone, because now we can just hook them to the frame and hook our caliper onto these things. Then, kind of like the O-rings, we got a big washer pack. It's always nice to have additional washers. Always need clippers, and I always lose mine. I have a really good set, but I always misplace them and can't find them. So now having two is going to be nice. We got some markers, because it's always good to be able to mark things to ensure that you've torqued this, that, or the other. Now you can remember. Some electrical connectors for your sound system stuff. It's gonna be nice. Also, pairing off of that, we got this new tool that's actually for crimping wires. So came with all of these different fittings, and you just stick it in there and then you properly crimp it down. So y'all can't be roasting me in the comments for using regular pliers or needle nose or anything for our audio needs. Now we actually have a tool for that. Then we got this 14 nut bolt extractor socket set. Bunch of different options. If you've ever broken a bolt or a stud or anything, it can be an absolute nightmare, and I'm hoping that these guys actually work properly, and if they do, it's going to be great in the future when we inevitably break a bolt. So we got these babies for, I can't remember who I got, either the Trump or the VMAX, one of the two. Wires are a little close to our headers, so I figure we go ahead and get some of these to go on our wires to keep those things hopefully out of the fire and not melting. Ground straps, these are awesome, and we've needed them for a long time. We have, I think, 3 different trucks that have the ground straps from the hood to the engine bay firewall to hood, either not there or broken. And so when I saw these available, wanted to go ahead and snag some of them. Got us a big hammer, big 3-pound Tacoma hammer. It's always nice to have one of these babies, especially if you do ball joints up control arms with it. Smack that thing and it'll pop loose. And I actually bought this myself between our last video and this one. This is 2-pound, so it's got a nice weight to it. Both of them feel good. Got little rubber handles, whatever the case. And none of this I'm pushing y'all to buy, but I do encourage you to go check out the website and see if it's something that you might want to get. If it is, great. Lastly, we got a 12-piece ratcheting wrench set, which is going to be amazing because y'all know 99% of my tools, they don't have the ratcheting part, and that definitely helps speed the process up. Well, I guess in my excitement, I actually glossed over a couple of things. So in this bag is a bunch of these black automotive gloves, which you can never have too many of those. And then we have this breaker bar attachment that your wrench goes in. So the days of me putting a big one on a little one when we need some extra torque and then it's slipping and absolutely obliterating my hand is hopefully long gone, because your wrench is going to actually fit into the end of this, and then you've got all the torque to actually break whatever it is free. And then lastly, we have the adapters to go from 1/4 inch to a 3/4 up and down, because the other day I broke my only one that I had, and it was a very name brand one. If I can pull my sleeve up, I'll show you all the nice scar that it has left me with. Looks like doesn't look good, that's for sure, but had to pick up some more of those because I'm always having to use adapters to find the right one, because your boy ain't got a huge socket collection, but all good. We'll eventually get some for sure. But I say let's go ahead and test something out. So let's start with the ground straps. Let's grab the keys to the Duramax and the new white truck and throw them on. Well, I did it off camera, and then I figured I might as well show y'all. So got our new snippers, and we're going to cut our bag open to get our ground straps out. So yeah, I'd say they're pretty freaking sharp. So here's our factory ground strap that's broken. It's pretty common. Not the best location to use a ratcheting wrench, but I want to test out our new one. So beautiful. Get that baby free. Let this be a lesson to measure the length of things that you need to replace, because your boy did not order ones that were long enough. So I'll have to get some longer ones, but hey, we got to try out some new tools, so I'll take that as a win. Well, I just got done putting all of our tools up, and of course you'll actually see me use them in the future, especially all of our car wash stuff, but I'm gonna wait till it's not 35 degrees out to do that. But I will give y'all my honest thoughts and opinions when we're using them, and I have seen some comments, so I just wanted to say that all the tools and everything that I've gotten from Temu have been perfectly fine. So I haven't had any issues, and like I said, I've purchased several things between these sponsored videos for myself personally, and they've all been great. So I use multiple things still from that first video, like the battery jump, the air compressor, multiple other things. And so if you are in the market for some tools or some parts, I definitely suggest downloading the app, going on the website, seeing if they have what fits you. And if they do, use my code. You'll be happy days. So with that said, that's going to be about a wrap for this video. Y'all definitely drop a comment and let me know what you think about the new tips on the OBS. I need to clean up the splatter stuff, but definitely looks good on there, and I for sure think it sounds better. Yeah, it's looking freaking right. So I'm pretty tickled with that. So I guess we'll end this video off. A little bit more exhaust clips, pull this thing up, get her parked away. But once again, shout out to Temu for sponsoring this video. Shout out to y'all for watching the videos. And this is how we are able to do everything. So once again, I appreciate everyone watching the video, dropping a comment, leaving a like, subscribing. Y'all the best. Y'all the reason why we're able to do all of this. And so with that said, I'll see y'all boys in the next one.